From casting a specific set of actors throughout his movies to becoming a cult classic director, here's what Quentin Tarantino said about the greatest actor of his era.
If you just truly love cinema with enough passion, and you really love it, then you can't help but make a good movie.
You'll be shocked to know that it's none other than Chris Pine. I know, you were probably expecting someone like Leonardo DiCaprio or Samuel L. Jackson, right? This isn't to say Tarantino doesn't love them. Of course he does. If he didn't, he wouldn't cast them in so many of his films. But there's a reason why he called Pine the greatest actor of his era. It all has to do with the movie Unstoppable, which came out in 2010. You'll also be surprised to know that he didn't direct this one. In fact, he has never even worked with Pine. Yet, that is. He was speaking solely as a true fan of the art of making movies. To know why he chose Chris, it's important to remember the movie, so let's take a little trip down memory lane, shall we?
Mr. Galvin, with all due respect, I've been railroading 28 years. I'm telling you, we got a real chance to stop this thing.
For those who haven't seen it, the disaster action flick centers Denzel Washington and Pine first of all, and it retells the real-life CSX 8888 incident. Wondering what that was? Well, a runaway train loaded with dangerous chemicals malfunctioned and ran unstoppable for 2 hours. The two leading men were responsible for stopping the train in question. Given that Tarantino leans heavily into the action genre so much, it makes total sense why this movie is right up his alley. Come on, the man is known for his crazy, gory approach to the action itself. Once upon a time in Hollywood, anyone? Now that I've caught you up, I'm sure you're wondering why Quentin chose this specific Pine performance. Apparently, there was something special about it for him. I think some of you may agree with this. Pine has never been bigger than Unstoppable. It may sound like this was his peak, and it went down from there. Well, stop right there if you think that. The famous director explained that he is a huge fan of the actor, and that he's his favorite action man of the late 2000s era. The way he made his case was that Chris hasn't taken the next big action star step after Unstoppable. According to the director, it's the highlight of Pine's career. Nobody does it like that guy for him. He even went on to say that the actor has been very good in other roles too, but not as good as the 2010 movie. It sounds like he wants to pick the actor for a future role. You don't just call someone the greatest actor of an era for no reason, right? Well, he confirmed that himself. I'm sure any actor would love to hear this. Tarantino wants to cast Chris Pine. He was super excited when he was talking about this to the folks on the Rewatchables podcast. I could almost hear the man jump up and down in his seat. One thing's for sure, he's very passionate about cinema. He said that he's Pine's biggest fan and that if he had the right role for him, he'd cast him in a heartbeat. Knowing that the mastermind's career is far from over, I'm pretty sure a chance can come up. He is unstoppable when it comes to fulfilling his vision. It's crystal clear from the way he has picked specific actors again and again to star in his movies. That's also a reason why his favorite actor was such a shocker. Plus, there's one other important detail you might have missed out on. Do you think Quentin would ever experience difficulty casting any actor he wants? Let me tell you why he won't. The guy is a legend. Love him or hate him, you gotta admit that the director has built an amazing reputation for himself, which has pushed him to the top of the film industry. You gotta be special to create such high-quality filmography, right? Not to mention, he's always got A-list actors who love working with him. Think about it. Whenever you put on a Tarantino flick, you know you're in for surprises. But one thing is always for sure. You'll see a killer performance. With his position in Hollywood, I'm 100% sure he can cast anybody he wants. Nobody's out of his league. Take Samuel L. Jackson, for example. He plays Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction, Stephen Warren in Django Unchained, and Ordell Robbie in Jackie Brown. What's the common link between all these roles? They're all done exceptionally well. It's safe to say the icon will forever have a place as one of the director's favorite actors. Speaking of favorite actors, he also revealed some of the absolute faves he has worked with. Spoiler, it doesn't include Leo DiCaprio. Tim Roth, a man just as enigmatic as his favorites, that's for sure.
What's wrong with that? Nobody ever robs restaurants. Why not?
It's pretty surprising to hear no mention of Brad Pitt or Leo, but hey, there's a science to Tarantino's mind. In an interview with Jim Hoberman, he said that he loves Tim Roth. They've worked together before on Pulp Fiction and The Hateful Eight, but there's one thing he loves in particular, the fact that Roth is like a chameleon, which of course is amazing in the acting business. He's not the subtle kind of shapeshifter either. Like I said before, Quentin is a man who loves the shock factor, and for him, Tim is that perfect balance of ferociousness and versatility. Why else would he cast him time and time again. It's also important to realize that he said he picked Roth when he was talking about actors his age. Plus, it also looks like he just has a whole lot of favorite. When you've been in the industry this long, you're bound to rack up a long list. While he's one of the goats of cinema, there are lots of actors he admires and hasn't worked with yet. Chris Pine, of course, being on the top of the list. But what about the others? Well, this next one might be a little confusing, but it makes perfect sense. Nick Cage. I think no one will truly understand Cage, and that's fine. It's part of the reason why you just can't keep your eyes off him. In any role, he's been outrageous. Sometimes it can even get hard to watch, but you can't stop watching, you know? That's the exact quality that the Pulp Fiction director appreciates. He chose Cage for his fearlessness, which everyone can agree he has. He explained that he's never seen an actor make a career of being miscast and play it to his advantage. It's often an actor's worst nightmare to get a role they didn't want, or worse, when audiences think they were miscast. And we all know that the actor has seen a lot of hate for his filmography. His resume is so long, but there are a lot of movies that fans just thought were the worst. Deadfall from 1993 kinda takes the cake, with a 0% score on Rotten Tomatoes. He was unhinged, but that movie just did not hold up well. Screen Rant called it an uninteresting mess. That being said, he has always been the shining star of the worst movies he's been in. This specific acting quality is exactly what Tarantino adores. Keeping that in mind, the two of them haven't worked together yet. Well, the director has a whole world at his fingertips. Maybe one day there'll be a feature film with Cage and Pine? Who knows? It all depends on Quentin himself. That's all we got on Tarantino's greatest actor of his era, along with some of his favorite actors. Who's your favorite? We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.
One minute they're having a Denver omelette. Next minute someone's sticking a gun in their face. Open it.
Take some money, buy a film, put it in your refrigerator, and if you're the kind of person that'll make a movie...
T-U-V-W-X-Y-Z! Huh? That's all you have to do!
Now you stop your pursuit, or I will fire you.
You already did.
Put the germ in my head, you know, so then later I wrote one.
How much is that?
$1,500.
Okay, put it in your pocket. It's yours.
Well, then fine! If that's what you want, then let's have it out right now. Well, let me guess. It's the wrong time!
Not for you. Not doing it for you.
I do like the idea that I can, do to the audience, laugh, 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 stop laughing.
Open it! Open it! Open it! Open it! Open it! Open it!
Wait a minute.
The only way to stop that kind of power, grab it by the tail, boom, gun in the opposite
We
direction.
can't just chase that. If it goes down, we're gonna be a wreck on a wreck.
You may move in with me. Isn't this a bit sudden?
I don't have a lot of things.
If you're right and that derailer fails, what are the odds it makes it to Stanton?
You sort of